Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Bludborn, and in this video we're going to take a look at a new system coming to the Lord of the Rings Online in the near future, Landscape Difficulty. Now before we get started, be sure to give this video a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe, and turn on the bell to get those future notifications of new content. Also be sure to head over to my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/Bludborn and drop a follow over there. You can catch me streaming on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays starting at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Alright, so Standing Stone Games has done something that they've been talking about for a while since a couple of producers' letters ago. And I'm talking about the challenge server. Well, sort of. As it turns out, if you got onto Bullroar in one of these last two Update 30 preview builds, you may have noticed a few new quest givers with some additional landscape and mission difficulty quests. So let's take a look at what it is, how to participate, and how challenging it is really. From reading a bit on the forums, the new producer Rivver, it sounds like they want to see these features put on a dedicated legendary server first before rolling it out to the rest of the live servers. Now I'm not sure what I think about this particular decision. I don't know if it necessarily makes sense to put it on a legendary first, bring it to live later, do it all at once. You can tell me in the comments what you think. Now for this test I made a fresh brand new man champion called Blood Test. After exiting the intro, I went over to the Isengard Tavern and completed the intro zone skip and was put in Celodum. A little ways up the road near the stable, there is a new hardened Traveler Ranger NPC named Berthodon. When you interact with Berthodon, you're presented with 10 possible quests ranging from normal to deadly +6. Now I wanted to get a baseline on this new system, so I started off with a normal and ran up to find a basic enemy. Came across a level 7 wolf and proceeded to defeat it with ease. Now, it should be noted that if you have not selected a higher difficulty setting, this quest literally does nothing. I was simply going through the motions on it. Now this quest does have some ramifications if you have completed it after selecting a higher tier. It can permanently cancel your difficulty-based title deeds, so proceed with caution and don't complain when you didn't read the red warning text. Now, next up, I decided to take a look at difficulty 3, Deadly. Now, checking out the quest text shows that it should start to make the game significantly more difficult. Also, interestingly, if you start any of these quests before level 11, it opens up class-specific account-wide deeds that can be completed if you reach level 50 and 130 without lowering the difficulty. I went back up to find my friendly wolf to engage in a little spar, and the outcome, well, I died. Now to be fair on this, I didn't do any strafing or movement. Again, I just wanted to get a baseline on toe-to-toe. After I retreated and made it back over to the ranger, I decided to turn the difficulty all the way up to deadly +6. I enabled the difficulty and went to find my furry friend again. After finding him and engaging in combat, it was a quick 2-tap and I was taking another dirt nap. And needless to say, before any of the other mechanics get involved with this, it is quite apparent that the difficulty settings are no joke and will require a proper group to achieve progress. Now speaking of mechanics, there are a few to take note of. First of all, when you select a difficulty setting above normal, you'll get a buff that shows the appropriate setting you've selected along with an XP buff ranging from 10% to 20%. The second thing you'll notice is periodically there will be an eye above your head with a corresponding debuff called the Eye of Sauron. During the periods of time while the eye is on you, things are going to start to happen. Enemies will get random corruptions, even if you're level 5. Now keep in mind that below level 20, the corruptions are not their full strength versions that I'm about to show you. At that point, you don't have a corruption removal skill yet, so best of luck with that. Now currently while testing, there was a bug where the eye would sometimes not leave even if the debuff timer had expired. Now the corruptions that I was able to see during testing were as follows. You had the red eye, which is enraged power, which reduces the enemy's incoming damage by 50% and increases their damage by 100%. It also makes them a little bit faster too. Now the blue eye is enraged toughness, which decreases the enemy's incoming damage by 75%, increases their damage by 33%, and makes them a bit faster as well. And lastly is Enraged Speed, which is a yellow eye, which reduces the enemy's incoming damage by 50%, makes them immune to pretty much all CC, and makes them 30% faster. So if you couple the increased difficulty with some of these corruptions, you could be in for a real treat. A couple things to note is that while the Eye of Sauron is open, any aggroed mobs can get any of those corruptions. So if you aggro a few extra mobs, maybe looking at the ground again real soon. Now, I was not able to tell if the corruptions were able to stack during testing, but it did not appear that they could at this time. Now, one final mechanic that happens while the Eye of Sauron is open is that you'll see a ground skill target and then a fire column will drop in the center of it. This seemed fairly random and did a moderate amount of damage while the eye was open. Now, I did want to check this system out on a regular level 130 champion, so I went down to Kellendem and went through the motions of setting the difficulty to normal. Again, this is not necessary unless you've selected a higher tier difficulty. Now, I proceeded to head out to Elderslade up near the gates of Gundabad and got into a little tussle with some Angmarim. Again, just to get a baseline. Now, after I sent the Iron Crown packing, I went back to Kellendem and set the difficulty back all the way up to Deadly +6. I returned to the same location to fight some more Angmarim, and as fate would have it, the Eye of Sauron opened as I was engaged in combat, and several mobs got buffed, and I was looking at the ground again. Now, as a special treat, I wanted to see what would happen is if I went up against the Witch King of Angmar out in Mordor Besiege with Deadly +6 turned on. A quick 1.1 million HP hit later, and I was inspecting the ground before the Witch King's animation was even finished. Now, there are a couple of other things to mention with this system. As it is right now, there's no layering system involved. So if you are Deadly +6 and engaged in a lengthy fight, someone could come by on normal and barely breathe on a target and kill them. Now, this seems like it could quickly invalidate some of these titles if you had a higher level rolling around that was not at the same difficulty as you, and killing things normally after you get a tap in. Now, if you are grouped together, it does seem that the difficulty of the mobs will default to the highest setting between group members. Now, in the forums, Vastin mentioned that it was something that they'd like to look into, but not sure how viable it would be to build out at this point. Now, there really does not seem to be any reward other than the 2 class-specific account-bound titles per class and some bragging rights. Now, while I do appreciate developers taking an initiative in creating new experiences for players, this is kind of a harder one for me to get behind, seeing we haven't seen work done that we have been asking for years, with things like updated kinships, fellowship maneuver revamps, racial revamps, and more. We are often told that they need to carve out time for the things that we're asking for, but time has been made for things that very few people to almost no one has been asking for. Now, working on a completely new class while other classes have entire specs that are broken, underpowered, or never used. Now, I know a large pass on most all classes is coming and has been partially shown on these builds. But I would say all of those large-scale changes should be reserved for a drop of an expansion, not the tail end of one when new content is still coming in. If the development time and engineering time is so precious, fix the broken things, give love to the forgotten things, and hold off on new and not asked for things. Now, that's going to do it for this video. Tell me what you think on the system and in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video or live stream soon. Take care.